back on it, it just seems like so unreal. I couldn't even fathom my career, my life doing what I did. I actually grew up with my grandparents first before going to live with my dad. My mom and dad separated when I was 1 year old. My mom, she had left to go to New York City, so I really only remember her 2 or 3 times growing up. When I was 9 years old, we headed off to the other side of town, which was my dad's house. We were still living in a slave hut. My stepmom and my dad, they still acted as if they were slaves. My dad didn't go to church. He drank a lot. He couldn't read or write, and he was abusive. But because he was such a demanding person, I got this drive. I found that I could work harder than anybody, even the adults. One year I set an all-time record for the most cotton picked in Halifax County. I picked 404 pounds of cotton in one day. The letters that I did receive once in a while from my real mother, I would always look forward to those. I used to write her back sometimes and say, when I turn 16, I'm coming to find you. I turned 16 and I bought a one-way ticket to New York. It wasn't until the bus opens up at the Port Authority in New York that reality hits. I looked in my pocket and I had $1.72. You know, I had not seen her in 7 years. We walked into her apartment and there she introduces me to her husband and her 3 kids, which was a total surprise and shock to me because I didn't know that she had started another family. I stayed in New Jersey for a little while, and the next thing I know, I'm back in Enfield. But I was old enough to be able to work now and then finish school as well before going back to New Jersey again. And then I went to John Jay College of Criminal Justice in New York. I became a PI. I would have to go in and infiltrate an organization. Even my family didn't know what I was doing, and I couldn't tell them where I was going. So the way I transitioned into security, there's this other gentleman. He had this security installations that went from Monticello, New York to Union, New Jersey. And that was going to become my territory, about $50 million worth of assets. When the Meadowlands Sports Complex was going to be open, they needed somebody to go down to head this. So he tapped me to go to establish the Meadowlands Sports Complex Security Division. Here I am, one of the premier sports complexes in the world. Ended up being vice president, meeting 6 presidents in my lifetime, meeting the Pope, meeting every single star that you can think of. It was just incredible. You would think that I'm a sports guy, but I'm not. I'm a workaholic. I've been that ever since I worked on the farm. And my specialty is crowds and human behavior. So I love going into big venues and planning out and looking at all the people that are there and listening to the roar of the crowd and knowing that I'm responsible for all of those folks. And I think by working events, big events, planning events, because there's no 2 events alike, that still gives me that energy, still gives me that drive. Here's a kid who was basically abandoned by his mother, stayed with an abusive father, ran away from home to be where I am today. I'm the luckiest man on the face of the earth.